movements are increasing, so at the center of the beam there will be, because if you try to find out the reactions, whatever the reactions which will going to generate, and according to that reaction we will try to find out the movement. Naturally it is a just example, just it's a analogous case with the shear force. If we have a UDL, naturally we will have the shear force 0 in case of UDL. In that similar way, for a movement having a concentrated movement throughout the length, we'll have this bending moment 0 at the center. So such examples will be covered definitely. That particular part which is there, I'll just quickly highlight the portion which is related to failure theory. Now this is there are number of points which are required to be covered in the solid mechanics part. Bending moment and shear force is only one particular bit of syllabus. Apart from that, we already covered by Indrajit Jain sir. And then the failure theories. Again, other portions are there, but I'll just try to touch that failure. What are the concept which is required in the failure theory? Now I'll just quickly go through. I'll not take much time as we have time constraints. Now suppose I consider a bracket which is loaded with some load. What will happen to the bracket? Now see the load, the bracket which is before load and the bracket which is after load. If you find there is a failure, now there will be two types of failure. One is a ductile failure and other is a brittle failure. Failure occurs at the onset of plastic deformation, and of course a failure occurs at a fracture, that is a brittle failure. Now we can say that in case of brittle failure we are talking about the ultimate strength, and in case of ductile failure we are always deal with the yield strength. Of course this is all things will be covered in detail in the main course, and there are different predictions of failure. In case of uniaxial stresses, we know how the things are happening. Sigma 1, that is if we say it's a force acting on a body, then there is a force stresses in one direction, we can easily predict it. But in case of triaxial stresses, there are forces acting in all directions, so of course it is difficult to predict. Now see, if we find out the if you try to work out the stress versus angle theta curve, I'm not going in the depth what will be the maximum normal stresses at what point, that will be covered in later on when actual failure theory will be covered in the main course. But this is what the relation, how the graphs are moving of normal stresses and shear stresses, and at theta equal to 180 degree how the things will be different. So again we need to understand what are the stresses acting on the body in actual problem, where three-dimensional stresses when the body come across the three forces in three directions. And now the failure theories are talking about all these things in a different way. So there are a number of failure theories. Rankine's theory is there, Coulomb theory is there, then Owen-Mises theory is there, Tesca's theory is there, Hill theory is there, Gusson theory is there, then modified Moore theory is also there. Now, if we talk about the brittle material, then Owen-Mises is there, Tesca is there, then from exam point of view, the Owen-Mises and Tesca is the more weightages were there in the particular theory. And then in case of ductile failure, Rankine's theory is there. Again, of course, modified Moore circle, Moore theory is there, and then Coulomb Moore's theory is there. So all this part which will going to be covered in the actual